Hello. What? Did that matter? That wasn't doing anything for me. It's fine. Anyway.
Okay.
What's happening?
It would just...
Anyway, is it 6 today? Welcome to Contra Gentiles Season 4, Episode 6. I'm going to send it to the boys because we're recording before midnight.
We are, yeah.
We're recording before midnight. God damn. How are you?
We probably could start doing this for the winter time.
Oh, you'll probably be less busy on Friday night. So.
Yeah.
Especially post-election and stuff.
Yeah. Start recording at least by 6 or 7.
That'd be pretty convenient.
Yeah. Mm. Well, yeah. How you been doing?
Good. I'm just sending this to the Eastern time, midnight Eastern time. Anyway. No, I've been good. Bored to hell, but good.
Yeah. Bored at work?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
No, it's horrible. I want to die constantly.
The worst thing
It's
ever.
explicitly not good.
Yeah.
Is that even still recording? Or it's not following? Anyway, whatever. Just make it closer. Center it. Or it's zoom out. Or out. No, it's fine.
Yes. Sorry.
I can't see it moving.
I wonder why it's not following. Oh, they're not following it.
Okay, good. Anyway, yeah, I've been good. I don't know if I have any news or anything, but
I like how our episodes are always like just talking about the monitoring and everything.
oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yeah, I know.
We're doing it right now, so
Yeah.
eventually we'll be hopefully have a slave to
I know, that'll be awesome.
whip and do everything.
Have a Jamie.
Yeah. Anyway, so we just had an election. Should we mention anything?
Sure,
Do
yeah.
we have any takes about that? Do we have any opinions?
Overall, I guess
Nothing surprised me at all.
Yeah, I think Fetterman thing probably the most surprised me.
I'm not surprised at all.
Oh, you're not? Yeah,
No, I'm irritated by it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think it's a stark sign of cultural decay.
Yeah,
That you could have someone that talks like that win an election. What was it? Was it Bulgakov's behemoth? I don't know if he uses his name for their show or not.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Ostrotomism.
Yeah.
Bulge. He said something like, "No, the USA with like." How did he word it? It was so good. Because his explanation for why Fetterman lost, I'm not going to find it. You know that the U.S. will never select as its representative a Turk or something.
Oh, yeah.
That was
yes,
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah, that was a horrible campaign that he ran. I mean, I didn't follow it that closely.
It would have to be horrible.
Yeah, but everything that I did see about it seemed pretty damn bad.
No, it would. I mean, it would have to be.
Yeah,
He lost to a brain damaged, like tiger seal.
Yes. Yeah, that's just embarrassing.
I know. He lost to the most off-putting politician to ever run.
He's just like so hideous. And,
Everything about him is wrong.
that thing in his neck. Yeah, it's
I
disgusting.
think it's just his body.
Was it? Yeah.
I pissed a bunch of people off in YouTube comments. I was so irritated with the results that I.
Really?
Yeah. I went on YouTube and I was like, I'm going to comment on a YouTube video for the first time ever. And then like 40 people engaged.
YouTube is fun, actually. You get a lot of engagement on trolling people on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was my old trolling stomping ground.
Well, yeah, it was in 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, other than that, just the same old. I think more than anything, it's just the commentaries on 2024 that's kind of been a little more interesting.
I'm going to see if they've... Well, continue.
Yeah.
I'm just going to see if...
Yeah, and I think there's probably a lot of our listeners that...
Oh my God, Alaska's still reporting 80%.
Are they? Yeah.
It's been a day and a half.
Just
don't finish. Just don't stop counting.
They're just terrified of the real outcome. But yeah,
For Don Levy?
Yeah, I think so. There's,
He destroyed.
He did. It was quite impressive.
It's better than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they're looking at the numbers and they're thinking so far they can't find any other election which somebody won that big so far.
In a state.
No, and for Alaska. For Alaska elections.
Oh, for governor ever?
Yeah. For that wide of margin.
Ever?
Yeah. That the next person up is like 26%.
He got what, 50?
Right now I think it's at 52. And then it's 26.
Because I can look here. Yeah, he's at 52, and then Les Gara beat Bill Walker. The creepy
like,
Mario.
I mean, what's that margin? It's like a 30-point margin.
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty incredible.
it's because they split a vote.
Yeah,
They split it.
Yeah.
Alaska suffers from vote splitting.
They do
A lot.
And
Like if you look at the numbers for the House, Mary Peltola will likely be the winner. I think. I know that you hold out hope. I don't.
Right now, it's just that it's likely that if everybody who voted, I think they did the math and said it has to only be 70%. So if 70% of baggage voters put Sarah as second,
Then she'll win.
she's going to win. Yeah.
But I feel like baggage voters only voted for baggage because they hate Sarah Palin.
I know. But they did do a huge vote the red push.
Both of them.
They did, yeah.
Mutually. Okay.
Yeah.
So we should, I guess we've talked about before, we were a ranked choice voting state,
Unfortunately.
which is the dumbest bullshit on
it's
planet
the first
Earth.
election in which we're doing that. And it's already being stupid. Murkowski is going to win because of ranked choice voting.
Yeah, Chewbacca won the popular.
Yep.
We're on just the raw vote.
Yep.
And they're like, but actually everybody had to choose their what did you say? It was to make libertarians feel good?
Yeah, because most defense of it, people that spoke to me about it were all libertarians. And the Alaska
It's
Libertarians.
like Josh loved it.
Josh loved it. There was when he had like his podcast, there was this
The one they never released. Or no, they did.
Yeah, there was a lady legislator that they brought in who was a libertarian. That
They had a guest on
yeah,
and everything?
yeah. And yeah, she talked to me a little bit about it after their show. And so yeah, the libertarians like it because they for the most part they seem to like dislike elections in general. They just want to be thorns on people's sides. But they
it seems like the ranked choice voting,
yeah.
they want, instead of 0.8% of the vote, they
Yeah.
want 2% of the vote, and that makes them feel good.
Yes, yeah. And so yeah, it's all dumb, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see what turns out. I'm just happy that there really is, I don't think, any mathematical way for
Then they would lose.
yeah.
Oh no, he has it. There's no.
That spread is just too high.
They split the vote.
Yeah,
If just Walker or just Gara
yeah.
had run,
It's still. That's what I mean. Dunleavy would still win,
yes, but it would
but
be.
it'll be closer. It'll be like 52 to 49.
So that's the thing about the people libertarians hate the two-party system because they don't dislike that it's two interest groups
Because nobody
competing.
takes their opinions seriously.
Yes, but it's if
as they should.
the reason I hate the third party thing is we are a two-party state.
Yeah.
We are just naturally.
Yes.
So you can be a man and accept that fact and do and run in that context, or you can be a third party candidate and get 0.5%.
Yeah, I know, and I hate it when they bring other countries.
It's been a Republican Democrat
yeah
country since the Civil War.
The thing that bothers me is that when they bring other countries up as examples, because in the end of the day, every country turns into a two-party system. Because all they do is form coalitions with parties that are similar to them. And so when one of them wins, and they form a coalition with like the next person up who share in many of their values.
You're talking about a parliamentary system?
Yeah. And so in the end, then it just becomes two parties.
Yeah.
It's like two large coalitions. And that's... And so I don't think that there's...
And anyone not participating in the large coalitions just loses all the time.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that I find stupid. It was like, well, in the end of the day, you're still having the same, not the same, but at least a similar structure where you have two competing ideologies. The difference is that the U.S. you built that coalition prior to the election.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's like you have the Protestants, and then you have the Catholics, and you have all these other people who who are pro-life, and so then the Republicans say, I'm going to appeal to them, start a coalition with them, and we're going to be a pro-life party.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. The difference is that in other nations, you do that after the election.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you actually have a legitimate third party. You just still have a binary. You have the left and the right.
Right. Yeah.
And in there, you're going to have disputes and distinctions, but that's just true in our country too. Because even the libertarians pretty much fall on the right.
Because it seems like just mathematically, if you're going to have a democracy of any kind,
Yes.
a republic or whatever, it would just devolve into, or I guess voting blocks would just naturally combine until you have two competing interests.
Yes.
And that will just be the case forever until one interest group kills the other.
Yeah.
And
Because
then-
in the end, the differences is going to be fundamental. And when you have similar fundamentals, then you have distinctions in there. That's where the coalitions begin. But when you have fundamental distinctions, you can't have, just with the law of non-contradiction or whatever, just with the articulation of truth, you can't really have that many varieties of fundamental distinctions.
Well,
It is either the case that it is,
or it isn't.
or it isn't.
There's no.
Yeah, there isn't anything.
So one side it is, and the other side
Yes,
it isn't.
yeah.
And it's just a very complicated
yeah.
assortment of ises and isn'ts.
Exactly, yeah. And then they form some kind of unity because
Well, I would
they
say
at least
so.
have the fundamentals in agreement.
Because a good analogy for this would be like the First and Second World War. It is
Yeah.
20 countries all fighting
Yep.
each other,
Yeah.
but it's two sides
Yes. Yeah.
of combined nations, or
Yep.
the combined forces of nations.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like France was one belligerent party, and then the UK was a belligerent party, and then
Right,
Germany
yeah.
was a belligerent party, and China was a belligerent party.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were allies and Axis.
Yep.
And
With two
obviously,
competing
at
ideologies.
certain points, those allied factions might turn on each other or not.
Yes.
But
yeah.
it's not like Italy turned on Germany and was just an independent thing.
Right. Yeah.
They what is it? Consorted with the Allies
Yes. Yeah.
after they were. It wasn't.
Yeah. But that's true about everything. Like when you
Yeah.
have disputes, philosophical distinctions, political distinctions,
Yeah.
like war, like you said, war.
Yeah.
It's like you have.
There's one side doing one
Yes,
thing and
there's
another
one
side
side.
doing another thing. There's no
Yes.
such thing as a multi-sided war.
There
really,
isn't.
too,
Yeah. Because either you agree with it or you're not. It's either P or not P. But it cannot be P and not P at the same time. That's just
Because it is
logic.
an
yeah.
interest. A war, the Second World War was such a massive scale.
Yeah.
Yet it's still.
It's binary.
They still.
Yeah.
The belligerent sides
Yep.
still
yeah.
consolidated into two
Yeah.
parties
Yeah.
in agreement.
Yeah. And so when the libertarians bitch about two-party system, it's like you can't have a third party. In reality, you really can't.
Yeah.
Because that third party either is going to fundamentally line up with one of the first two true binaries. Because when you have the left and the right, there really is a strict fundamental distinction. And that strict fundamental distinction can have offsprings that have distinct differences, right? So like the libertarians, like for example, the right in general does not like taxes.
Of course.
The libertarian point of view is to the point that they think it is immoral that taxes exist.
Yeah.
And they think it's violence to them. But there is still that fundamental quality that they share, that taxation is not I guess a desired thing.
Yes.
It's like you want to somehow eliminate that as much. And so that becomes, and then you have the left that doesn't think that. The left thinks that taxes is actually good because through taxation you could develop better infrastructures, or you could have better hospitals and so on and so forth.
Which I think is actually true, but
Yes. Yeah. and so that is a fundamental distinction. So you could have varieties within those two camps, but there's still only those two camps. I think it's the same problem that like the transgender thing has, is that you can't have a third gender. You can have variations within the binary, but you can't actually have a third
What's
one.
interesting is that things in reality seem to either be binary
Yes.
or like tripartite. And
Yep.
there's like two
Yeah.
different ways that things happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you tend to see groupings of 3 frequently throughout
Yes, you do.
nature.
Yeah,
cetera.
and that's
But there's
that's normally
also-
when once you get to the transcendentals, that's when it becomes tripartite.
Yeah.
But when you're just talking about
Reality.
reality,
everything exists on a
we're
binary.
We're a composite.
Yeah.
As a composite of form and matter, there's always going to be a binary to a reality.
Mm-hmm.
But the fundamentals of reality does become tripartite. But that's
Yeah.
because
It's just interesting how
it
there's-
is right.
there's-
Yeah. But
Everything's made up of 2s and 3s.
yeah
Politics not being a 3.
yeah.
Well, should be a 1, but
And I think that's what always
well,
kind
the
of
ultimate, the best binary is authority in the ruled is the
Yes.
best binary.
it is
Because
fundamentally
because what happens in a democratic system
Yeah.
is that within the government there is the authority in the ruled.
Yes.
The Republicans are the ruled currently. They still
Yes. Yeah.
instead of I don't know, effectively there does not need to be, if the presidency is held by a Democrat
Yeah.
or whatever hypothetical party you want,
yeah. Yeah.
and then the House is ruled by Democrats or
Yep.
the Democrats hold a majority in the House and then they hold a majority in the Senate. They're
Yeah.
just why are there Republicans at all? They should just go home until the next election.
Yeah, because then they're useless there. Yeah, I think that is essentially what happens.
It's
in
just
the end.
it's a shifting monarchy. It's like a shifting monarchic bureaucracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And instead of wars, we just have elections. And I do think that is probably
But no one gets to let off any of the steam.
they don't. So it's like a growing insanity.
Yeah.
That I do think that we have. I think both on the left and the right, you do see a growing insanity.
And I think that's why everybody was so sane during
Yes.
the world wars and after the world wars.
Because it was actual.
We weren't fighting each other ourselves. We were
Yes,
fighting
yeah.
somebody else. We were still fighting something.
Yes, yeah. And it was.
During
yeah.
the Cold War, everybody had a
Yeah, they did. A little more sane.
had a uniting enemy.
Yeah. Yep.
Our uniting enemy right now is
We
Joe Biden or something. It's a pathetic.
It is, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing really to fight about. But the left always wants to make something to fight about, and I think, and the right just, I don't know what they're doing right now.
We shouldn't fight. We shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can talk this out.
Yeah, and I think just to lead into the conversation of the DeSantis and Trump thing.
Oh yeah.
I do think that there's something there. And
So I guess what do you mean just
so, yeah,
that Trump is the favorite
yeah, but I think by many
there's
common
a lot
people,
of people who really think DeSantis is a
yes,
Trumpian figure who would be better than
Yeah.
Trump.
And the one thing that I have really truly noticed was that anybody who did not vote for Trump in 2016,
Conservatives that didn't vote for Trump.
yes, conservatives who didn't vote for Trump in 2016 preferred DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something there, and there is a split within the conservatives that I don't know whether it is that powerful in the end. It might be. I really don't know. You have to really see the way the election plays out, because it might be so divisive that Trump could just start a third party and then just be like, fuck you guys, and call it the Patriot Party and start, and then just keep running. That could be possible.
Yeah.
And so there are people I was never raised a Republican. I'm not really a hardcore Republican type of person in general. And so
You find them largely off-putting.
I do, yes, yeah. and I think that's the one thing that Republicans, like ones who are really like born and raised Republican, do not understand about the way that people like me view DeSantis. I see him and he's fine, he is whatever.
He does a lot of things I think are good.
Yeah, he's much better than any Democrat. Like if he was the nominee,
You would totally vote for him.
yes, yeah. But if there was a third party,
Yeah.
if it's Trump there,
we just got done railing against
I
people.
know we did, yeah.
Only form a third party if you can win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. And I think
immediately.
he could.
Yeah.
I think he could win. But the thing about him and the thing about that group of Republicans is that I don't think they understand what people like me loved so much about Trump.
And you mean like brown people?
Yes, I think brown people, and I think other people who are white, but just who voted for Obama in 2008, but voted for Trump in 2016, and there's a lot of them, and I think too many times we try to trivialize that
Because you don't care about the Republican platform at all.
I don't. That's the thing.
You care about Trump.
Yeah, I care about Trump, and I care about other people who are genuine, and I think when people keep calling him a narcissist, all he's doing is he wants himself to win and blah, blah, blah. He's attacking DeSantis too early. It's kind of like, well, yeah, he wants to win and I don't care.
Well, I want him to win.
Yes. That's the thing. I agree with him. It's like, yeah, just win or I don't care what it takes. You got to punch him in the nuts a few times and punch him in the nuts, you know, keep going with it. So it really doesn't bother me because there's a sense of destruction that I think he does to the entire system that
Or respect for the system as it is.
yes,
At least, yeah.
that he really is the only one that I've ever seen throughout my entire lifetime that does cause that kind of disruption. And that is what we desire. And so it you know, we're sometimes want to hear someone like Ben Shapiro talk about it or Matt Walsh talk about it, where they're just saying that they wish he would just shut up or they would just wish that he wouldn't tweet so much that he would. And it's kind of like, no, that's you know, to use Shapiro's language, that is not a bug of Trump for us. That's a feature.
Yeah.
That's what I want him to do.
Yeah.
You know, go down in flames.
Yeah.
Fine. You know, you're going to go down in flames and do it, but continuously cause that disruption because I don't think that the Republican Party is a good party. I think they have a lot of flaws in the way, for example, that they're talking about the student loan forgiveness. It's incredibly dishonest. They say phrases like you're stealing from the taxpayers to pay off your debt that you're too lazy to pay for or whatever, right? And when you look at it, well, that's he says you're literally taking food out of their kids' mouths. It's like you're not because either way you're paying taxes, right? So it isn't as if they're going.
It's not like they're taking more
taxes from you. It's like whether
well, I mean, they could,
right?
It,
yes,
but they're not.
But whether or not you have your student loans forgiven, the same amount of taxes is going to be taxed onto you, and then the government is using the tax dollars in which you have given them for an X amount of whatever. And so it's just an incredibly dishonest conversation that they're having, and their dispute is a dishonest. Like that is not what's happening. Nobody is, you know, forcing other people to pay your debt. The government is paying it off by money that they're getting from taxes that they're already getting, regardless, right? And then don't get me started on the people who actually pay the taxes, which is like 90% of taxes are paid by the 1%.
Yeah. So
all these people bitching, it's like quit bitching. When you're donating like 50 cents to somebody's, you know, student loan, no, nothing. It's stupid. It's a stupid argument, and it's frustrating. And I find like the Republicans say many stupid arguments that way, and they do it like with this like as much passion as abortion. It's like, no, be passionate about abortion, yeah, because you're actually killing babies. That is something to be passionate about. That is an actual evil.
Yeah.
The government using tax dollars to write off their own loans is not taking the food out of your child's mouth. It's not that. Not even in a figure. That's a horrible analogy. That's a horrible figurative statement. There's everything about that statement is so dishonest that is not even a good metaphor.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the government lends you money and then they're writing that off and be like, you don't have to pay it back. And then they're not taxing anybody anymore. Mm-hmm. They're taking that same and like shifting the money where it goes. Like that's what they're doing. If in my business I loaned people money, and then I'm like, I think I'm gonna. And let's say some people paid me back and others didn't. I'm like, I'm just gonna forgive their debt. How am I gonna do that? Am I gonna go to the other customers and be like, hey, you gotta give me more money now? No, I take the money that I have.
Yeah.
And then I shift it and allocate it to that part. That's what they're doing, and so.
But it's not even. They're not even taking money to do it. They're just not taking money back.
I know. They're
not even spending money. The money was spent a long time ago.
No. Yes. And so it's things like that I just find incredibly stupid.
Republicans.
Yeah.
You know why they do that? At least for that, because economics to them is metaphysical.
Yes,
so there's a more moral.
Yeah, there's that moral component.
There's a moral component to economics, which isn't real, but
yes, yeah. Yeah, that part bothers me. The whole like taxation is theft thing. It's like that's a tired old saying, and it's not true. It's like just stop saying that. Just fucking pay it.
I hate when adults say it.
Yes,
I hate when like a 22-year-old.
Of course, yeah, you're a punk kid.
Dork, says it. When you're like 50 and you're like taxation is theft, it's like
and we don't have to get into the whole conversation again, but
just stop.
yes, just the many of these like Republican positions I just find incredibly stupid. It's not helpful. I think their inability and lack of desire to spend money is weird. Like in the end, the Republican presidents do spend a lot of money, which is good. But like the Republican platform is that it is evil to spend money, and it's like why? Again, just going back to running a business or running a household, you have to spend money really to produce more wealth.
Of course,
that's just that's a part of it. And so, if you want your nation to be more vibrant, be more productive, you kind of want to spend more money on them. Especially things that will be helpful, like roads, bridges, healthcare, whatever. It's like these type of things are actually really helpful for the people. In Belgium, for example, where the government pays most of your tuition and you pay like 900 euros for an entire year. It's like that's a good thing. Like people can actually go study. To learn a trade many times is just completely paid for. And so like the idea that it is evil to spend money on your citizens is dumb.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I just don't agree with at all. Again, many reasons why I like Trump.
Yeah.
Because Trump is not that. Trump is not like this fiscally conservative, I'm never going to spend money type person. No, he talks about like doing shit and wants to build more stuff. It's like, that's a good thing. And so there's, I think that there's just a disconnect. I think that there's a disconnect that really long time, strong conservative voters don't understand about people who voted for Trump.
Well, it's in the same way that Americans don't know how to. Most Americans have no idea how to convert people to their religions.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
Yes,
that most other cultures are more effective at doing that than Americans are.
Yeah.
I just think it's a blindness.
Yeah.
To the other.
Right.
We have no idea what other people think.
Yes. Yeah.
Like Democrats, leftists, liberals. I hate saying all of these words. Make me feel embarrassed to say.
Yeah.
I would come up with a word on the fly that makes me feel less stupid for talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, the American left obviously has no clue what the American right thinks.
They don't, yeah.
But the American right has no idea what the left thinks either.
Yep.
There's kind of an aesthetic understanding, and there's a understanding of the practical results of decisions and policies and stuff, but they don't really know.
Yes, yeah.
Like there's an attribution of malice to either side that I just don't think is actually true. I don't think the left is actually. I think they hold a lot of evil positions.
Yeah,
but I don't think they literally want all children to die and like kill it. They think they're doing the right. They're insane.
Yes, exactly.
But they think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, they are. I do think they're insane. One take that I really liked that Michael Knowles said that actually made me think about it a little more strong.
Yeah,
was that he really does kind of view it as almost like a demonic possession.
Oh, of course.
Because I think the people on the left, that entire worldview, they lack the basic virtues and qualities that is given to you through baptism, and especially strengthened with the gifts of the Holy Spirit through confirmation. That I just think that they lack, and so they are like the way that they scream into the sky, the way that they like have this guttural reaction. It is very demonic, and I do think that they're like. Like demonically possessed people. I feel the same way about many libertarians. I feel like they're like demonically possessed. They're
so angry.
It is, yeah. And then even further, there's like these comments that I think ring true, because then the same type of people, whether they're libertarians or people on the left, also have like a secular confession where they go see psychologists and get treatment and all that stuff. And it is like a secular demonic version.
I don't know about
of
that one with libertarians as much, but
but
there's a lot of religious libertarians who would be more anti-psychology.
Yeah, which would be good. But yeah, especially with people on the left, because then when you hear the kind of words that they just give you words of affirmation of your own position, and tell you that you're good, and tell you that you could go through it, that you can do it on your own, that you're strong. Like all of these statements are just I think very, very it's just very bad. And so most of my criticisms, if not all of my criticisms with the left, is I do think that they are very devilish, and I do think their positions are fundamentally evil and possessed. And it's something that I would never defend. But I do think at this within that same token, it's very hard for me to defend many of the positions of the American conservatives, because I do think they have some weird possession within themselves as well.
Of course.
I think fundamentally a lot of it is Protestant, which I disagree
Obviously,
with.
yes.
Yeah, for many reasons.
We do.
And then they also hold on to many of the classical liberal ideas that I think
I think
false.
they're on more of a superficial level better people.
Of course, yeah.
Generally.
I think so, yeah.
Or their ideas are less fundamentally evil.
Yeah. But they're so horrifyingly scrupulous.
No, I know, which is evil. Yeah.
It is, yeah. And the scrupulosity, I think, is just like it's just very, very off-putting. It's like, just stop.
Yeah,
you know, and so many of them are just fake.
Oh, I know.
You know, they have this presence of trying to being virtuous or whatever, but then they go off and then they have their apartment for their gay lover.
Or they drink all of the booze in their closet.
Yeah, drink all the booze in the lover. Yeah, in the closet.
Yeah.
It's just everything about it. It's just not something that I would say I'm gung ho about all of that. Things I like about Trump again is he's not fake. People know about his divorces. No. People know about his desire for pussy. Yeah. You know, he wants to say it's it's easy when you're wealthy, you grab by the pussy, and they're going to say okay. It's like this is the type of person, and I like that. Yeah. Because it is not a hidden thing. Yeah. And whenever there's somebody who presents themselves as perfect, it
so
makes me trust me less.
Is there some scrupulosity about DeSantis that you don't? That's part of what you don't like.
And I do think that's why everybody, like on Daily Wire, every conservative person that was raised conservative will not like the nickname he gave him. Yeah. But the reason why he gave him sanctimonious is because of his scrupulosity. Yeah. And
that's why I think a lot of like generally more correct than the average Republican voter.
Yes.
People who are more correct generally.
Yeah.
Or have more solid opinions. The more scrupulous their disposition, the more they tend to like DeSantis.
Yep. Yeah.
Like there's some people who I agree with about everything to such a degree it's shocking to me they're not Trump people.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the only differentiator is scrupulosity.
It is. Yeah. And I do think that's and those people will always gravitate towards someone like DeSantis more.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see no sin in him, and then I think he's lying to me. Actually, I would say I know he's lying to me.
Something.
Yeah.
Because what was that thing, the Trump comment where he was like, he said something about
some dirt on him.
He knows him better than anybody.
Yeah.
Except maybe his wife. Like I thought that was kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
But if he's gonna have woman problems, just have woman problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing to have
like
someone,
Henry VIII openly split his church from Rome to divorce. Like,
yes. Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's as far as it's. I mean, open concubines for all of history, all leaders.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just people knew about it.
I feel like I'm not stringing words. I'm so brain dead today.
Yeah.
I'm trying to string,
no. I know what you mean.
I'm like it's so.
But like this phony presentation, it's really, really off-putting. We just
like Fidel Castro openly.
Yes. Yeah.
Banged tens of thousands of women or something.
Yeah. Like I remember when I was discussing this with Matt when we were at the party.
Of course, he is a Latino.
I know. Yeah. Because like Matt's a DeSantis person, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, he's scrupulous as fuck. And so
we're aware. I thought the whole discussion of the boy diddling.
Oh yeah.
Was like odd. I was like.
Yeah.
We've agreed so much up to this point. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, what was I going to say? But the one thing that I told him is like, because he was thinking that was a bad idea as many conservatives do that Trump is attacking DeSantis. And the thing I told him is like, the thing that you don't understand is that someone like me, and there's many of us, there's at least I would say 37% of the people who voted for him prior are going to be people like me. It's not going to be a majority, I know that, but I think it's a large proportion of us. And
37%.
I think
How did you get that number?
Because consistently, no matter what, there's a 37% that never ever moves away from him. When he goes down in the polls, it goes up in the polls.
You're saying people who vote for him for his personality.
Yeah, they vote for him regardless.
Yeah.
It was like the only thing that would honestly make me not vote for him if he came out and says, now I'm pro-abortion. That really would be
that,
it would have to be so grievous that's like that would be something that would be okay. I'm not with you anymore. You're done.
Yeah.
But other than that, someone like DeSantis is not going to make me want to turn away from him. You have to introduce the example I gave was like Fidel. You have to introduce like this cigar smoking spick that comes out there, and he has like 3 women in arms, and going there to speak and talking about how he's going to take down abortion. That would be like, holy shit, there's somebody better than Trump. Yeah. Like that would be someone better than Trump. But that, but that is like, no, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen. I don't think that he's as strong as people think that he is. I do think that DeSantis would cave in on many things that he's unable to.
Or he hasn't done anything to convince you that he wouldn't cave on stuff.
Yes. Yeah. People keep talking about like how great he governed. And I guess, in many ways he did. But then
I think it's hard. It would be hard to argue against his record right now, in any practical sense.
Yeah. That's what I mean. But I also think it's dishonest if you try to say that Trump did nothing, which many of them say.
It's clinically insane to say.
Yes,
that.
and I'll be like the peace treaty. That's nothing.
He walked Russia and China back simultaneously.
Yes, yeah. Electing putting in place the judges to eradicate Roe v. Wade.
Leader, if he warmed up relations with North Korea.
Yes, yeah. It's like, no major war for 4 years. First time in my fucking lifetime. Like, that is something that the destruction.
I don't know if people, I think people took the, I think COVID.
Yeah.
The economic downturn that occurred right at the end of his presidency due to pandemic response makes it hard to remember how good the economy was before that. Yeah. How uniquely good it was in recent history.
Yeah, I know.
the late 2010s were an excellent time to
It was
be.
amazing.
Like just economically was great.
I know, man. Gas was so cheap.
I know.
When I started this business, it was just like, it was amazing. I loved it. But yeah.
He built most of the wall he said he was going to build.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
The wall doesn't do anything, but it's a wall, dude.
Yeah. It was a good time.
It's a symbol.
It was a good time in the country. And
But
so
yeah, I do find it annoying. People are like, oh, he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
He
I was
didn't do
like-
that
I
much.
was like,
I don't know where you were.
yeah, that's what I feel. I was like, what do
Because
you mean?
another thing I think a lot of people could benefit from either admitting or understanding that a lot of the reason they don't like Trump is this COVID response,
Yes, I know.
which
That's-
I didn't love. I thought
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
There really was a point in the early. I think we know so much of it was bullshit now that in the first
Like month, maybe.
up to 3-4 months, we didn't know what it was. We didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
anything
true,
about it.
yeah.
We're like, oh, the Chinese invented this virus
Yeah.
and now it's spreading everywhere and we have no idea what it does and it looks like it came from a lab.
Yes,
So it's
yeah.
like you kind of have to panic about that. And
Yeah.
all world officials knew it came from a lab.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
yeah,
no
definitely.
the bat thing was the wet market thing was not.
Yeah.
No sane government official in the world actually bought that.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can't blame his early because he's a delegator
yeah.
and he delegated to the people he had.
Yeah.
Fauci
yeah.
was a bad pick,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but-
Definitely.
He doesn't know what to do with that.
Yeah. I know.
He just kind of took advice
Yeah,
from people.
and I have no problem criticizing the parts in which he did poorly at.
Yeah.
But I also just think that the parts that he did good in are
Or
things
so much
are just
more important.
unimaginable.
Yeah.
I would guarantee I could ask every conservative in 2015, hey, do you think Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned anytime soon?
Yeah.
I know for everyone that I've ever spoken to, all of them was like, no, there's no way. It's not going to happen. You know, the left has too much of a stronghold. There was a Supreme Court decision. It's just not going to happen. They've all said that my entire life growing up, and that alone for me, it's like you can't say that is nothing.
I know.
If there was not Trump, there would not have been the overturning of Roe v. Wade. That is one of the greatest things that was ever done in this country. Greater than the saving of the fucking slaves.
Yeah.
Greater than that was
Yeah.
the saving of the unborn children.
Yeah.
And I know it's not over yet, but at least abolishing that has opened the doors
It's illegal in
for that
several
salvation.
states now,
Yeah.
yeah.
7 states now? Yeah. Look-
Several.
Oh, yeah.
I think more than 7.
yeah. It's like that is a fucking good thing. And so it's just
It's really, you have to forget all of his foreign policy work. Also.
yeah, as foreign policy works.
He pulled
as
out of
shit.
the Paris Accords.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
pulled out of the Iran deal.
Yes.
He pulled out of NAFTA.
Yep.
And I don't know why, especially libertarians would have any issue with him. It's just like, dude, he's pulling out of all these international agreements.
Yes, I know. Things that you would want.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's annoying, it's upsetting.
Yeah, I think people don't like his COVID response, and they think they think he was too friendly with Israel if they're really like Jew
oh right. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it just I think that you just have to really again I do think that there's a strict disconnect. There is a Trumpian group of people, and I could be wrong with the number, but I think because of all the polls that they've taken, it's about 37% base that is going to be solid regardless. And I think that 37% is not really the same as the rest of the Republican Party.
Yeah, of course not.
They're not.
I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
Right,
The
yeah.
Trump bloc is different.
It is, yeah.
Group of people.
We are a different group of people, and they just don't get us. And I think they don't get us as much as they don't get the left. It is that much of a disconnect, is that they don't comprehend it. Like for them, it's shocking. It's like, how can you support, like Matt Walsh comes out, how can you support Trump? You know, after saying this and doing that, you know, he should be supporting DeSantis. Like I just, okay, then you don't get it. You know, you don't get the joy, right? The thing that Milo was talking about. It's like that is,
Oh, on Tim Pool's.
yeah.
Did you watch that whole thing?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah. I think that's something is like you don't understand that. It's like what we are seeking is joy. You know, the rallies that he does is just happy. It's dancing. It's music. It's whatever. It's just
joking.
It's joking. His entire
showmanship.
presidency was just a joke.
Yeah.
And that's what we want, right? We want that humor. We want that just happiness, that joy that you get out of just being that way. We don't want that anger of that conservative anger, you know, the face of, you know, all these people.
The bitterness.
Yeah, it's like nobody likes that, man. Okay, people do like that, but we don't like that. You know, we just don't. That's not appealing to us, and
because DeSantis has the anger.
he does
Without
it's the joy.
better dressed up.
Yeah,
I think it's more palatable than other.
It is. Yeah,
angers.
it is.
Partially because he's Floridian.
Yeah,
He's Italian.
yes.
I don't dislike him,
I don't either. Yeah,
but I don't.
but I don't fully trust him either.
No, I
You know,
trust him as much as any other politician. He happens to
yeah.
do things I like,
Yes.
and I don't have a reason to believe he would just stop doing that for any reason right now. I don't.
Yeah, I do think
But he's a machine politician.
Yep. I do think he would in order to win re-election. He seems like the kind of person that would be soft in his first term in order to get the second term.
And then flip.
Yeah. And
Trump just balls out.
I prefer that. I just do it, man.
The fact that he was that insane and lost by the tiny margin he did.
I know.
Not electorally,
Lost,
but
yeah. Yeah. I mean, what was it? 78 million?
Yeah.
So his votes?
That was Biden. No, 78 to 80 or something.
Yeah, Biden's was like 80 and his was 78. It's like, that's a fucking
He lost
ton.
by one large city
Yes, yeah.
after that
Yeah.
election.
It's amazing.
Or after that term.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I just, it's hard for me. And so, and I think that's something that a lot of people who really do have liked Trump from the beginning will say, well, they might not articulate it the same way, but I do think that is one of the things that defines the way that we think. If I could do justice to it, it's just that it is that there's a sense of joy that he has. There's just a real sense of genuine character and belief, and that his sins are out in the open. And that's hard to replace. It's hard to replace that when you're not willing to have your sins out in the open. And it just, I know him then. It's like, okay, I know. Okay, I don't care. Move on. Let's move on, right? Why do we need a large scandal the way Clinton had for getting a fucking blowjob? It's like if Trump did that, I'd be like, and? Was she hot, at least? It's like,
Was Monica Lewinsky hot?
no.
I think she's kind of dumpy.
Yeah, she wasn't attractive. And so that's really what you would ask, and it gets rid of all of that stupid like deification of a politician. And
no one deifies Trump. No Trump people deify him.
And that's the funny thing is that many people who don't like people like me say that we are deifying him. It's like, we're really not. The reason why that we like him is because we don't deify him. The reason why we like him is because we know he's a sinner and a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Like the reason his rallies fill up to the degree they do is people want to have like a hell yeah good time.
Yes, that's why.
Participate in
Yes,
the future.
It is that's all it is. And so when you try to still present yourself as this perfect individual, it's just like, okay, well, obviously you're not. Nobody is, and so you're not going to have the same appeal.
Yeah,
like I said, it really will be the cigar smoking, guy with 3 women on his side that could. So you would have to out machismo Trump to that level for people to start migrating.
You'd love a candidate who'd flirt with interviewers.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be hilarious. If he was just like there and And he doesn't just have a first lady. He just has 3 women rather than a first lady.
Concubines?
Yes, yeah. I was like, okay, that's pretty badass, man. Let's keep going. Let's see what you're gonna
There's
do
like
with this.
a rotating staff. of
Yes, yeah.
concubines
Yes.
in the White House.
But then fought the good fight, fought
Yeah.
the fight against abortion, fought
Yeah.
the fight against
Yeah.
transgender people. It's like it has to be both of that, because that's someone I could get behind. It's like I trust you. But if you're gonna present to me this facade, this I'm a family man, I'm this, I'm that, I'm gonna make this really cheesy top
does
top
Biden does
ad.
Biden have a picture of the Pope in his office?
I don't know. Does he?
No, wouldn't that be awesome though? I feel like your hypothetical Latino man with the cigars and women would have a picture of the Pope in his office.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
There's a Virgin Mary statue in the window.
Yes. Do a nightly rosary on TV every day.
Oh wow, that would be a lot of commitment.
I know.
He gets calls and he's like,
Yeah. Not right now.
you do one decade.
Yeah, just one.
1 decade, yeah.
Yeah,
He's always having nuns to talk about issues. And
Oh
stuff.
yes, yeah. Waits in line for confession for all the women he fucked. Like, good man, good man.
Wow. It's our ideal candidate.
But yeah, it's because
Other world leaders would respect him more.
I know. And it's just because I don't deify politicians. I think when people want that perfect image of a perfect family man who has no sins, they want a Christ figure.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, if there's already a Christ.
Yeah.
We don't need a Christ figure. What we need is a leader.
As a figure who follows Christ.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's a leader that
Is DeSantis Catholic? He's Italian.
He might be. I think he has like 4 kids.
I know, and his wife is pretty attractive.
Yeah,
like moderately.
Which is it's a huge plus for him.
Oh, I know. You were like, I think I trust him more because I saw his wife was hot.
Yeah.
No, what religion is he? Tell me what religion he is. Okay, so we're going to early life check DeSantis on Wikipedia. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it doesn't say.
It feels like maybe he's keeping it close.
There's no way it's not on the internet. What religion? How would a what religion is Ron DeSantis? That's the first. What religion? What nationality? He's Italian, but what is his religion?
If he's an Italian heretic, that's a disgrace.
It doesn't even say.
Maybe he never disclosed it.
Trump takes aim. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, imagine if he's a Protestant.
Yeah.
And then I would really have questions for some friends. Be like, what are you doing?
But other than that, I think he's a good governor.
I think you could convert Trump if you had an hour with him.
Oh, I know.
I think you
That'd be
could.
great, yeah.
I think you could do it.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun. I'd love to have an hour with him.
Just an hour and you could convert him.
Yeah.
Let's take him down to the Holy Family.
Just,
Just convert him on the way over.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do this thing.
Yes, yeah. All right.
You call the Dominicans up and you're like, hey, I got a guy. I've got the guy.
Yeah,
he's on his way.
He's
I need you to
interested.
get
He's
the...
interested.
Just be like, warm up the holy water. We're on our way.
Oh. But anyways, I think that's enough of the Trump DeSantis talk.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're at just under an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to transition.
Yeah, I guess transition would be good.
Okay, so as we announced, what we're doing now is we're going to cut the live stream, the main show.
No, I think for the first one we should keep it on.
You want to?
Yeah, for this first one, because then people could at least see what it's like.
Oh, it's just us answering questions. We have other Q&As, but yeah, it's whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
What did you want to do? So we're just going to sacrifice one of our listener questions to the masses.
Okay.
And
yes.
then you wanted to do commentary on the Matt Walsh thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd probably be a good idea to do, yeah. So Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire was on the Joe Rogan Experience. I watched two and a half hours
Okay.
of the 3 hours.
Yeah.
I didn't get the last 30. I forgot my headphones at home, so I couldn't, I couldn't listen or watch any more today.
Yeah.
But he was on Joe Rogan's podcast to discuss his What is a Woman documentary. So most of the conversation revolved around his advocacy against like child mutilation surgeries and stuff, and whatever.
Which is fantastic.
I don't know
as
what
it normally is.
Oh, of course, yeah. He's quite good about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what hospital, some hospital in Tennessee.
Yeah.
He was talking about, Rogan's asking him about what he does, how he got into it.
Yeah.
If his physicians, if what led him to that, what his strong opinions.
Yeah.
In opposition to, transing the kids.
Yeah.
As he would say.
Did you see the photo of them too?
Is it funny?
Joe Rogan's just so short. It just looks.
Wasn't Matt Walsh like 6'2", 6'3"?
Is he that tall? I don't know. But I think
is it on his Instagram?
I think it was. Yeah, I just saw it. I remember when it might have been Twitter where I saw it, but I'm sure it's on Instagram.
Yeah, let's see. Joe Rogan's Instagram. I'm so burpy.
And Joe Rogan is starting to get that buff old man physique.
Yeah. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, the picture, yeah, where he's like, he looks like he has back problems.
I know, yeah, because he's getting that buff old man physique.
Yeah, he's kind of got that.
Like Schwarzenegger and...
Looks like he was in the Navy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, was it on Matt Walsh's Twitter?
I think it was on Matt Walsh's where I saw it.
Matt Walsh blog, is that him? Theocratic fascist. Yep, that's him. Yeah, do you follow him on Twitter?
Yes, I do, yeah.
I don't follow anyone that doesn't follow me back. It's my policy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it keeps my account tiny. I don't have to interact with anybody. Man, he tweets a lot. Dude, he tweets so much.
I know he does, yeah.
Calm down. Anyway, man, I don't have my glasses on. It makes it not only hard to see stuff, but I also can't mentally focus on things.
Did you find the picture or no?
No, it's not on here. Anyway,
Damn, okay.
Whatever. I can imagine it.
Yeah, yeah.
He's just tiny. I think Joe Rogan's 5'6".
Is he 5'6"?
5'7", I think.
Oh, okay. So he's almost average height.
No, average height's like 5'10".
5'8". Remember, we looked it up last time.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's all the Mexicans.
Yes, yeah. Or at least the last time when you and I looked it up, that's what it said.
5'9".
5'9", okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, I could see 5'9". 5'8's too short.
Yeah.
Like it's not massive of difference. That's 5'9" is a short man, and then 5'8" and lower is like midgets. It's like you're too short. You're a different class of people. But yeah, he went on, Matt Walsh went on Joe Rogan show, and it was all good.
Yeah.
But our listener, I don't know if they want to be named.
So can you read the question? What does it say?
Yeah, so it's Bask in My Glory is the Patreon name. I don't know who.
Yeah.
I don't know who this is. If this is someone I know or not, or just a subscriber. But he just says, he wanted our commentary on the episode, and then especially the last hour.
Okay, yeah.
He's just a painful.
It's
a painful discussion.
Yeah.
I didn't finish all of it.
Yeah.
I feel like Matt Walsh's argumentation regarding marriage.
Yeah.
At least of what I've heard of him, is shallow enough that you get the same thing over and over. It's the same.
Yeah, and I think he didn't effectively explain it to him. I don't think he's wrong. I know that he knows. Yes.
At least in practice, what's correct.
Yes, but he I don't know if it was whether he didn't want to be too offensive, or whether it was just too hard for him to articulate it. But I
thought he sounded a little non-confrontational, which was off-brand for him.
I know. Which is unfortunate because that's when he's like the funniest. I really do love Matt Walsh's dry humor. I think it's fucking amazing. Yeah. Especially when he just rails against like the transgender movement. It's really, really funny. But in this particular one, so I think the thing that we always have to keep in mind is that secularists like Joe Rogan, they don't understand
what marriage is.
Yeah. And they don't really understand definitions. And I don't think that Matt Walsh explained it effective enough.
Because that he intuitively knew those things. He knows.
Yeah. And so you see, it's this simple. The simplicity is that we see things within reality, and then we use language, which is just, arbitrary sounds and symbols to refer to that. And so there's an actual phenomena that happens in reality in which men and women produce human life. Now, with that, there is a sense of a social construct that comes along with marriage, because from that phenomenon, you're saying that you ought to do it within these boundaries, because within these boundaries, it is more effective and it is actually more beneficial for the children and so on and so forth. And so the boundaries really is marriage. Now, for most of human history, marriage, and I think this is the part where he kind of falls apart, because what's his name?
Matt Walsh.
No, Joe Rogan
Oh.
brings it in there as well. He says, well, really, in most of human history, marriage did not just mean one man and one woman.
Yeah.
Marriage, for the most part, it means definitely man and woman, but many, I don't know if most, but many civilizations before Christianity were polygamous. And then further on still are, like the Mohammedans and everything. Even many of the Eastern world were very polygamous. So you look at Africans as well, yeah. And so but what they all had in common was that you had a responsibility, you had a commitment. That once you did that act, once you put your dick inside the pussy, that there is a commitment that comes along with that. That is not just a flippant act. That is an intimate act. That's an act that has consequences, and that you are making a pact. You are making something with that woman. And so from there are different rituals, there are different rules to play around with it, but even the polygamous societies had this idea of marriage, and now you're bound to that person. And so once you're bound to that person, your main function now within this marriage is for the production of children and for the rearing of them within the proper normativities in which they agreed upon. And so that really is the phenomenon of what marriage is.
Well, that's a historical explanation of.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it's both. You did say what it is. It's a
yeah.
But you could talk for a long time about why the sacrament of marriage is necessary.
Yes, and that
in that context.
Yes, and
because
that's
that's the gay marriage thing has to do with that.
No, I don't think it does. It doesn't even have to go sacramentally, because just within that explanation,
yes, but
two dudes cannot
I'm saying
do
you
that.
can.
You can make it more religious.
Yes,
but this is the part that I agree with Matt Walsh, is that there's no need to.
Yes,
because I think there were a lot of Christians, and mostly Protestants, but there were a lot of Christians that wrote to him, and they were upset that he says, well, you can't remove God from marriage. You can't do this. And it's like, well, you really can't, because it is a natural law thing.
Well, I mean, God is naturalized God.
I know it is. Yes, yeah. But what I mean is that he doesn't have to bring Bible verses in there.
No, I'm not saying
he doesn't have to bring the catechism. He doesn't have to bring the sacrament. It's just that there is this reality.
But I'm saying
there's a reality in which a man inserting his penis inside of a woman means that you made a promise, means that you made a commitment.
If he goes, why?
Because there's the children. That's really it.
But why is that a commitment?
Because now it is your duty to raise that child.
Why?
Because you produced it.
Why? You have to, that's what they're doing, is they walk you back, and you eventually just have to be theological. You have to make theological arguments.
I don't think you do.
They're not going to go, why?
Because you have to. I mean, I guess I would ask the reverse. Like, why wouldn't you be obligated to take care of that? If you purchased a pet, are you obligated to take care of that pet?
A lot of them would say no, fundamentally.
No, they would say yeah.
I don't know about that.
They wouldn't say that. So
I'm saying that they're going to why you back and back and back and back. They're going to.
Yeah, no, but that's why I think it's important to re-enter the conversation with a field in which they would agree on. Yeah. I don't think any of them would think, any secularist would think you should abuse an animal.
No. But my point is that you go, well, you made children, you have a commitment to them. And they're like, okay, to you.
Well, I guess I don't know what the alternative is then.
I don't know.
Like
Gays marrying each other. Like what?
No. I mean, in the production of children, like this,
Yeah.
like this is a real thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? You producing a child is an actual phenomenon.
Yes, of course.
Two men can't do that.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And so there is nothing there.
But I'm saying your definition is not going to convince people because it hasn't. It doesn't. I mean, most people do, but I'm saying people who are already gung ho for marrying
Right,
the
no,
gays
because
off.
then he would introduce his definition, which is two people in love who just want to commit to each
You're
other.
like, okay, that's a different thing.
Yeah, that's a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
Because I already explained what
And
the
then
actual
then it would require a battle of definitions and an explanation of why definitions matter.
Yes, yeah.
And what definitions
and I
are.
think that's why then you don't really have to bring in the notions of sacrament or whatever. I do think there's a basis in natural law for that. The same way there's a basis to not kill somebody.
Okay, yes. So it would be an incomplete argument to just say it's commitment in a conversation.
Right, yeah.
Because that's not. People know that that's a commitment,
Yes.
but they still don't. They're still like, well, why does that matter for marriage? They're still saying.
Yeah, they're still saying that because they can't get out of their definition.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing like with murder. I don't have to say, well, because the Bible said murder is wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we could have a rational argument
Of why
based on
murder's
natural law and why murder is wrong.
Yeah, of
And I would say we could have a natural law argument of why you're obligated to take care of a child that you produced. But that is a real thing that then we could discuss, and what is the better way to do it, whether it should have a certain kind of institutional binding or whatever. That's fine. All those things is a legitimate topic of conversation within the natural law. But what I think Matt Walsh failed to do was that he failed to present that directly with nature and reality.
All he made was historical arguments.
Yes, yeah.
Well, people forever have always done that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, well, isn't that a logical fallacy?
Genetic fallacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, or the bandwagon fallacy, you could say, historical one.
Kind of a both.
Yeah. But yeah, and so that isn't a proper argument for that. It's like, no, you have to get into the natural law. Like, what does it mean to have responsibility towards things? Like that's really what the next question is. Because then either you have to argue that you have the responsibility to nothing, because if you don't have responsibility to your own children, it's like, fuck. What,
nothing.
You know. And so
none of that is positions I hold.
I know it isn't. Yeah. But I know you're just arguing from their point of view. But that's normally where the argument then would have to go to. But in all of that discussion, there is no phenomenon in which two men can ever do that. And so because of that, it can't be the same thing. Now, if you want to invent a new word for the original definition of marriage, I'm fine with that. I don't give a shit then.
You can have that word.
Yeah. So if you say marriage is just two people committed, fine. But then there's still this that needs to be protected because this is fundamentally and ontologically different.
Yeah.
There's a distinction between a man and a woman producing children and raising them than it is two men butt fucking.
Yeah.
There is this ontological difference that you cannot really deny. And so there has to be two words to refer to these two different phenomenons. Two people getting married is not the same as as a man and a woman doing it. And then he brought up the example of what if people chose not to have kids.
That's actually funny. Is like, because you know, Matt Walsh is like that children are present in child. I don't remember how he.
Yeah.
Children are present in marriage and like they're necessary they're part of the nature of marriage. And Joe Rogan is like, well, what if people never have kids? Is that an illegitimate marriage? I'm like, yes.
I know. That's all he had to say there. It's like, yes.
It can be annulled. It's not.
Yes,
not done yet.
Even legally, we still hold that.
Yeah.
Like you could annul that because
you
never consummated the marriage. And so
I thought that was funny because I was like, Matt, you have to say yes.
I know. Just say yes.
Just say yes.
Just fucking say it.
Because that was because it was weird. So I'm kind of, especially after that interview, I'm really starting to formulate why he bothers me.
Yeah.
Because and this would be my takeaway from the whole interview.
Yeah.
As far as my commentary goes, because his argumentation is extremely bad.
Yeah.
Like a third of the time.
Yeah.
Other times he's fine.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's funny.
Yes.
And I don't. A lot of the time he's fine, but then he'll make a bad argument, and that really bothers me. But it's not. I get more irritated at his bad argument than I do.
Happy with his good arguments?
No, than I do with other people who also make bad arguments.
Okay,
I'd get more irritated with him.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he puts it on. I don't think that he 100% is genuinely like that. I think it's an affected thing. And when I was watching that interview, I saw more of his. I don't think he is actually that confrontational personally. I think he is a performer.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he forces himself. I think it's a muscle he's trained to flex.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's just naturally confrontational.
Okay.
So when I saw him in that interview, and Joe Rogan is not a theologian. He was lobbing meatballs.
Yeah.
At two people love each other. Like any learned person can argue against that.
Yeah.
When he's like, well, what do people don't have kids? Like, yeah, it's not marriage. You're a Catholic. You know that.
Yeah.
Just say, it's not marriage.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, he's a little bit of a wet noodle.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
I think he's a little wet noodly. And I think that's what bothered. I think there was kind of an artificial, I don't want to say artificial because it's not, performance is not necessarily fake.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he's
because he's actually being confrontational.
He
so he's
is
not
being,
faking it.
well, he made that "what is a woman" thing was very confrontational.
Yes, yeah.
But I think he's had to practice it.
Yeah.
And I think when he finds himself uncomfortable, he gets really flustered.
Yeah.
And that whole marriage discussion had him flustered, and that really kind of watching that, it kind of clicked for me that I was like, oh.
But he gets flustered in a weird way because he's not like emotional. He's just very even keel the entire time.
He just shuts down a little bit.
Yeah. But he doesn't begin to just.
No, he doesn't have a flip out moment.
And I also do think it threw him off guard. I think he thought that he was ready to talk about what is a woman. He was ready to talk about transgenderism. And so then I think flipping the conversation to marriage, I think it also threw him off. Like he didn't seem like he was mentally prepared to discuss that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's that had to play a role in that end performance. At least that's the way I saw it. Because he seemed pretty I don't know. He seemed as if he just was not prepared to answer such questions.
He was there to talk about the transgender thing.
And so bringing up marriage, he just kind of like, definitions. That's what it seemed like, it's just marriage, kids. And like I said, he wasn't wrong. No. Like nothing that he said, I would think was wrong. It was badly argued.
Of course. Well, it was hardly argued, really.
It was hard. Yeah. And Joe Rogan just kept throwing these like, just contemporary ideas that just two people loving each other, and that it could just change into that. It's like, but, and again, I think going back to what I think we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, it's like there is this weird phenomenon that contemporary thinkers have where they think that definitions can just change through time.
I'm so happy I found that, when someone's like, well, blah, 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 the freedom, monarchy is feudal, like anarchy is feudalism, and also feudalism is whatever we have now is feudalism, and like the total disregard for historical definitions of things. Yeah, people are like, well, that's actually what we mean now. I'm like, okay, I'm a horse. Yeah, it truly is it's a rational argument.
It is. Yeah,
from their position. Okay, well, you're a eel.
Yeah.
that I've just cooked on a grill based on my usage of those words.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I thought I was being kind of stupid, and I was like, oh, they're going to figure out a way to, argue against this. They can't. There's none. It's
they just get mad.
Because my argument would be, with Joe Rogan, you start with can I have a second to explain what marriage is? This is what I mean by marriage. This is what most people throughout history happen to also have meant by marriage. That's not a proof of its truth,
right?
Necessarily.
Yeah. Here's
this thing, and he goes, "Well, what if it's just this?" I'm like, "Okay, well then I'm that brick wall behind you, using my words."
Yeah. Yes.
I'm a bar stool.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, and I think
Because then they have an internal reaction because
They
they
do, yeah.
probably, if they thought their way through that,
Yeah.
they might go, okay, well, yeah, you are just a barstool.
yeah,
Which then it'd be like, okay, well, there's no use arguing with having this conversation at all. But a
Yeah.
lot of the time they're like, "Arr," and they have this like
they
little
do,
internal
yeah.
reaction.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's pretty effective.
I think it's very effective when you just start blowing it out stuff like that. Yeah,
Because then they're like, you're being stupid. I'm like, oh, really?
yeah, right.
Shocking.
Yeah, but I do think that the main problem that they fail to see is that just because there are evolutions within definitions in language, it doesn't eradicate the referent, and I think that part is what they don't see. It's like, okay, when an anarchist says now anarchy means a system of consent, then okay, now we change the definition, but now there's still this
thing
that
we used
is
to mean.
without a ruler that we use that word for. Now what do we call this? Because it doesn't just disappear. And it's the same thing with marriage. So okay, now marriage is like two dudes butt fucking. Okay, but we still have this thing where people make commitments and produce children. What do we call it then? You changing the definition does not eradicate the phenomenon. And I think that's one of the things that is just it's difficult to begin to argue with people because they think that it kind of does, and it's bizarre. It's just,
What's very modern?
yeah, it's like you're not changing reality. You're just using words to refer to different things.
Christianity being probably the first
Yes.
real major example of that.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And so many Protestants really, it's as if they're clueless, which is bizarre to me. You know, they're like, so I know you don't have the Daily Wire subscription, but in the second part, this one on the Matt Walsh show, so he takes listeners right in live. And one of them said, I heard you many times, one of the listeners said, I heard you many times refer to yourself as both Catholic and Christian, but you know that Catholic and Christians are two different things. So what are you? Are you Catholic or are you a Christian? And you know, I've heard that many times just growing up. And it's like the Protestants who don't think, they are like, I don't see how you could honestly believe that what you are practicing right now is what Jesus and the apostles practiced. I don't get it.
Yeah,
like one is just so incredibly stupid, or they're deliberately not wanting to know. Because I don't see the in between at that point. It's like you just thought that, you know, Jesus walked around in a suit and preached for 3 hours and sang with your hands up in the air. It's like, you think that's what the apostles were doing? Like, you really think this is, you know, a guitar up there and with the drums? Like, I don't.
You're like, okay, if that's Christianity, then I'm a penguin.
Yeah. And it's weird to me, or you think that they, it makes no sense. But I guess if you were really, really brainwashed, you wouldn't look outside of the fundamentals that you believe. But when I wrote that tweet, that's what I had in mind. It was like, I don't think that one has to be Catholic. I don't think that one has to be an extremely intelligent person, really, at all. You could just be a dummy working at McDonald's to realize that if you are an evangelical Protestant, or you are one of these other non-denominational Protestants, that you are not practicing what the apostles were practicing. You're not. There has to be something that comes to your head, and you could justify it, fine, but to truly believe that what the Catholics are practicing
Yeah.
is what's new. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Is that tying to
weird.
the marriage thing?
Huh?
Is that tying to the marriage thing? The Matt Walsh answer?
Yeah.
Is that it for the?
I guess so.
For the
Yeah.
stream?
Unless you think there's more comments to that.
No, I think we hit that one. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we're going to stop the stream
Okay. Yeah.
and then we'll post we'll see you on Patreon, boys.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Bye.